Yeah, and I think she's coming tomorrow because of the snow.
For me, haircutting is secondary to me. It's always been the people. You get to know their family, you get to know their history, mourn for them when they lose a loved one. It's always goes back to the people.
I think there's a lot of truth behind the saying that a dream job should never feel like a job at all. And since 1977, Steve Molkinthin has owned East Bank Barbers in downtown Anoka, cutting hair for 5 days a week for over 45 years, and he'll tell you himself that he hasn't worked a day in his life.
I mean, for me, it's huge because I'm a total people person. I get energy from people, so when I go home at the end of the day, I'm not tired from talking to people. I'm tired from standing all day. So, that makes a big difference because it makes me love what I'm doing.
Ever since the days in his college dorm room, cutting hair has always been a social pastime between Steve and his colleagues, coming together to buy a set of clippers and designating Steve as the barber of their friend group.
Didn't know what I was doing, but when I got into the Navy, the same thing happened. A bunch of guys went and got a clipper set, and I started cutting their hair. Not intentionally thinking I'm going to go to barber school, because I thought for sure I'd be working in the medical field when I got out of the Navy, especially as a medic in the service.
Steve inevitably attended Moeller Barber School in Minneapolis and eventually bought an old milk factory in Anoka to be used as East Bank Barber's first location in 1977. And after a few years of immediate success, Steve bought an empty gas station just off of 7th Avenue and turned it into the East Bank Barbers that we know today.
Did not realize what I was getting myself into. We walked into the main garage area and it smelled like grease and gasoline, and I thought, oh man, I shouldn't have done this.
As you can see, it was all boarded up, and then we started cleaning it out and getting it ready to start the building process, as you'll see as we come over here. So East Bank Barbers transitioned into this building that did not look like a gas station anymore. And so this is kind of the barber shop as we know it today. This happened to be a guy that was giving me a hard time about the haircut. So I said, well, I've got a bag in the back, and I said, let's see if that works for you when you leave. So I got the bag and cut holes in it, and we laughed about that.
But through all of the adversity and change that a business undergoes, the one consistency that is synonymous with East Bank Barbers is the personal connection that Steve makes with his customers.
You get to know people so well that they can jab at you and you can jab it back at them and just have fun. I feel sorry for places that can't do that because you're not making a connection with that customer that you otherwise would. If you're going to be in our industry, you really need to be a people person. If you're not a people person, you shouldn't be cutting hair, because what do you have to offer to that person sitting in your chair other than cutting their hair?
What would you say would be the key to a successful or long-lasting business for someone who's been in business for 45 years?
Having a shop wife.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why don't you speak up?
Well, I started working here in the early 80s. Yeah, so that's when Steve and I first met. I was in my 20s. Now, I'm only in my early 30s now. But even after I left this shop and started at a different shop, we still got together all the time for lunch, and we've stayed in contact all these years. Yeah.
After 45 years of being in business, East Bank Barbers is closing its doors. And although the name East Bank Barbers will be retired, Steve and Nancy will still be cutting hair separately through their own single-chair barber shops out of their personal homes.
It's kind of bittersweet, this is what I've done come to Anoka 5 days a week for 45 years, So it becomes kind of bittersweet a little bit. Started this business at 27, and now I'm 71. So.
My motto has always been to treat people with respect, a fair price, and give them a good product.
And give them a little whiskey.
And a little whiskey on the side. No, just kidding.
So it's been wonderful. He's one of my best friends. Truly. Are you gonna cry now? Plus, we figure we have so much crap on each other that we need to stay friends.